So, I'm headed to the post office, and just wanted to jump on and say I will be on. You guys probably already know, but I'm going to be on Truth Bomb Live tonight at around 10 p.m. His time or Eastern time or whatever, and I'll be tomato, and I'll be on at 7 o'clock Las Vegas time, around that time. So that was just a little update, and it's going to be showing that you can discuss things, and we're going to talk about things, and because I don't agree with his ways and he doesn't agree with my ways about the shooting, so it's going to be interesting. And we'll have Danny Diesel and Howitzer and Dub and Yo. So let me tell you a little story about me yesterday, and you guys are probably wondering by the title, what the hell am I talking about? So yesterday it was a super stormy day, snowing really bad, and one of our kids was home from sick, the oldest. So me and my wife ran to town real quick to get some stuff, and I just had this eerie feeling to hurry up and get home. God works in mysterious ways, let me tell you. So my wife's in town. I mean, it was so bad, they weren't plowing nothing. I had to have it in 4-wheel drive, even in the grocery store parking lot. And I was just telling my wife, we got to hurry up. We got to get out of here. There's just something, we got to get over that hill. We got to get, before it gets any worse, we got to get home. So we're on our way home, and we round a turn about a few miles out of town, and I see the one of the farmer's horses going crazy, and I was like, oh wow, what's going on? And then I go a little bit more, and then I see a car rolled over, and so we looked. Nobody had stopped yet. There's a little bit of movement up. The car was upside down. There was a little bit of movement, and hey, what's up, Jeff? So there's a little bit of movement in this car that's upside down. It's a little Geo Sportage and a little 4-wheel drive car, SUV thing. And so we hurry up, flip around. My wife runs, slips down the hill because they were down an embankment. And so I turn around and I park the house that they were by, the farmer's house. Another rancher's house there, and nobody's home, and so we could hear them moving around in there, and we just yelled, we'll be right there, we'll be right there. So we get over there, and there's a poor old man, probably in his 80s, pretty dazed and confused. And so we get over there and we look under there, and all we see is his wife upside down, neck cranked, hair caught, and she was still upside down and not breathing very well. And so with a little bit more research, I found that her arm was out the window of the car because the car was on its roof, and her hand was pinned underneath the car. And just remember, there's quite a bit of snow on the ground, and you'll need to know that here in a minute. So this other guy, when me and the old man, we got the old man kind of back to, and he's like trying to save his wife, and so he brings out his pocket knife and cuts her hair on the one side because the roof is pinched, and it's got her hair, so her hair was stuck. So we got his pocket knife and we cut her hair, and man, when we got her hair free, she took a big breath, and I mean, man, it started looking up for this lady. So we get her hair free, and then she goes, my arm, and she was able to move. And so we were able to see that her arm was through the window, but stuck underneath the car. So I was like, we got to get this car off of her hand so then we can get her out, because I was starting to smell gas, but I didn't see no smoke, nothing was sparking. The battery was, totally fine. So what I did was I was thinking of a way to get this car off of her. And so me, resourceful thinking, I was like, I looked at the guy's lumber pile and he had a big 4x6 about 12 feet long, and I grabbed some other 4x4 blocks about, I don't know, 18 inches long. And I said, I'm going to make me a lever. I'm going to pry up on that car, you know, let's put 300 pounds on that goddamn thing, and I bet you I can move that car. This guy shows up, tries to take hold of the situation, and I said, are you an EMT or what? He goes, no. He goes, I'm a retired police officer. And I said, oh, okay. So then he proceeds to tell me that my idea is no good. And I said, I can move that car off of her hand pretty easy with this thing. And he's like, no. Well, 15 more minutes go by, and he's still telling me no. And finally, I just went with my idea, and I got her unstuck. So paramedics show up about this time. I guess it's been about an hour, maybe. Yes, car was upside down, hair caught in the crinkled roof. It was pinched in between the folds of the metal and the headliner. So it's been about an hour about this time. The paramedics show up. They're like, let's cut this fence, because they had rolled over a barbed wire fence. And I said, no, we don't need to cut the barbed wire fence. There's horses and all the other gates are locked, and the farmer's not home. The rancher's not home. So we're not going to have any supplies to fix the fence. So they listened to me on that. So, the other ambulance shows up by this time, and so now we got a few people to help us there. We still can't get her. We got her arm free when I got the thing, and we're in the process of getting her out. But I mean, she's pretty cut up. Her ears cut up pretty bad. She's got a gash on her head, and I'm thinking her arms broke, her shoulder looked broke. I mean, her back looked broke. I mean, she just looked not too good, but she was breathing. She could talk to us. We kept her. What's up, Lonnie? Finally got her talking. The both ambulances are there now. The sheriff finally showed up, and we get her over the fence. We exchanged numbers with the driver, the old man, and we asked him if he had any family close. He said he had somebody called, but he took down our number in case they weren't. He wasn't able to get a ride home. We told him we'd give him a ride home. We'd go back and pick him up need be. So we get her over the fence, get her in the ambulance. I go talk to the paramedics and tell them, hey, the old man needs to be checked out too. He was pretty out of it when we got here. So I think he hit his head pretty hard. So we get all that done, and then I'm like, well, I got to fix that fence for those horses. So the fence was laid down because of a metal picket. So I just bent the picket back up, put some wire around, got the thing done. All said and done, everybody leaves. We get a few more miles down the road. This is like the weirdest trip home ever. So, get a few miles down the road, there's a little new Toyota Prius off in the snow, right? There's two young ladies there. And I'm not even kidding. This lady looked like Mary Lou Danley. I mean, I don't know if I think that stuff all the time, but it was pretty funny. But not funny. You know what I mean? Because you're just trying to help people. So I get out and I put my hazards on. And I go and say, you guys need help? And she goes, well, I gotta drive an hour and a half to get home. And I said, okay, where are you headed? She told me. I said, okay. Do you have the bungee cords for your tire chains? Because her and her daughter put the tire chains on, but didn't know that you needed bungees to keep them tight, you know. So they go, no, we don't have any bungee cords. And I'm like, damn. So I took her chains off, and I said, I'll promise you I'll follow you at least to my exit and make sure you're good from there. So we get her going. We're behind her. We're going like 20 miles an hour. Not even a few miles down the road, there's a semi truck off on the hill on the shoulder, and because he can't make it up the hill because the jackass didn't put the chains on at the bottom of the hill. You could totally tell the road wasn't plowed. Come on, you're going to need chains to even try to attempt to get up this hill, not go up there with nothing. So my wife gets out first. I park, put on my hazards, get out. And the guy told my wife, oh, no sabe nada, no sabe nada. And I said, oh, está bien, yo hablo español. And he looked at me like, what is this white dude doing in Oregon speaking Spanish? And so he was happy that I stopped, helped him for a couple minutes, get his other, make sure his chain was on or whatever. And then we take off. He gets going. And we get up to that lady that we told that we would follow her. So there's about 8 cars behind her now. And I'm thinking, this is not good. Well, my wife gets a call from the school saying the bus is going to be late to bring the kids home. And by this time, I'm like 45 minutes away from the kids' school. And I said, you know what? I'm not even going to let that bus even attempt to bring my kids home. So turned around at the safest spot where there's a big turnout, head back, picked up the kids, and came home. I should have been home about 1:30, and I didn't get home until, I don't know, 4 o'clock. I don't even remember what time it was, but it was, what a day, what a day, what a day. A day in the life of the farmer. God always puts me in these positions to help. It's not snowing right now. It turned to rain. We've been having massive rainstorms since about 7 o'clock last night, 8 o'clock last night. So all the snow is melted and everything's full of water. And then it's supposed to freeze tonight, start snowing, and snow most of the day tomorrow, and then end up with rain. So the thing that I wanted to tell you guys is that when we were driving home, there's people trying to pass in the snow without the roads being plowed. It's not very smart. Then there's people, yeah, exactly, Ouija. There's people hauling ass on this road. I mean, this is how people get killed. People don't realize it all happens like that. You just got to take your time, go easy, and drink lots of water. But after we picked up the kids, there was a little small bus, like one of the shorter buses. Maybe it had a lift gate and stuff, whatever, maybe inside for disabled kids. Exactly, Brad. And it's trying to pass people. So I called my wife attempted to call the school district to let them know that anybody, even if there was no kids in that bus driver should not be driving like that. Totally insane. Totally insane. So last night, after all said and done, we get a call from the driver, the old man in the car. And he said his wife had a fractured back. Her shoulder's pretty dinged up. I can't remember what she said happened to her arm, but it wasn't good. And but she's gonna be okay, and they were gonna keep her overnight. And he thanked us for being there because he said nobody was stopping. And I can vouch for that, because when we were there, nobody would stop. Nobody stopped to help us. Only that one guy that thought he was Billy Badass, the ex-cop. They should get training in this kind of stuff and learn how to take control of a situation and not make an ass out of yourself. It truly would help a lot of people, because most of the time they're like on the scene and stuff too, so they should have training in that kind of stuff. A little farmer ingenuity helped that family out pretty big time yesterday. And I'm not tooting my own horn, but sometimes you just got to use a little common sense and don't get so worked up, and just assess the situation and just handle it. So he probably wasn't even a retired cop exactly. I don't know. He acted like he had a chip on his shoulder, but it wasn't working with me. But anyway, so the old man, his name was Arthur, on the phone with my wife, and he was like crying, and he said that he would not. He said that he thanked us for being there because he said he wouldn't be around if it wasn't for us. And it just reminds you, there should be no all this hate shit. You know what I mean? So that was my day yesterday. I'm having a great day today, and he wants to meet up with us, and we're thinking about making him some food because his wife's not going to be able to cook, and they have a few horses that need to be fed, so we're going to help out any way we can. And we made a new friends. So he said he'll let us know when his wife gets out of the hospital. And what I seen yesterday of that old man, the lady that was on, after we stopped, I forgot to tell you that a lady had stopped, and I could tell she had a cell phone. So the first thing I told her was call 911 because there was no need for two people to be on 911 with the same thing. But that old man was willing to do whatever it took to save his wife, you know? He didn't care if he was hurt, whatever, banged up. He was going to fight. He went to the other lady saying, don't move her, and I wasn't about to tell him different because I knew what was going on. It was true love at its finest, you know? So, love your neighbor. Support your farmer. And be nice. And catch me tonight on Truth Bomb Live with Danny D, Howitzer, Dub. And you'll see that a differences of opinion can talk and not get mad at each other. So, hammer down, guys. Farmers for Truth.